We're live. So I'm Abdul from Last Will Cycling. Today we're doing the webcam, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's go. This is our first, yeah, this is our first webcam connection here, which is pretty cool.
It is.
Ryan has set this up, and I think we're ready to go.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to another episode. We are craziness. This is episode number
8.
8.
I had to like think about that for a second.
Unbelievable. 8 episodes in. We're almost done. So what are we talking about today?
Today, I think we're talking about ethnicity, right? Like race in cycling, minority slash like, what do you think about like what's preventing people to get in? You think to getting into cycling? You think like the stigma? Is there anything that you have an idea of like what people might not, want to be part of this sport? What do you think?
Well, let's take a look at the history. When going into cycling, obviously I'm newer anyways. And I have an obsessive personality. So I kind of take a look at history and see what's going on and watched a lot of different, I would say, cycling movies or documentaries that are available on things like Netflix and Disney Plus. So when I take a look at history, I think when you think Tour de France, for instance, it's a European sport. So a lot of European culture, which dominantly, I would say white colored versus ethnic color when it comes to Filipinos, African Americans, and the sort. So I don't think it's a question of what's stopping them, because it just kind of went from Europe to like mainstream. And how did it go mainstream? I think Lance Armstrong, when you think about American cycling, and I would say America cycling. And I think when you think about national sports, predominantly they go towards what's stronger for that country. Like soccer is very dominant in a lot of like Brazil or other different places. Even UK, don't get me wrong. Like I recognize that. And then you see, let's say, when I look at cycling, who's that African American that was in the Tour de France, the Netflix documentary, and he wore green. He's a sprinter, and I think 2 years ago, he won his first.
Yeah, he's from Eritrea. Eritrea, he's from Africa. I forgot his name now, but yeah, he's like one of the best sprinters in the world.
He's one of the best sprinters in the world. And I think, what was it, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, he was one of the first, I want to say, in his country, and I would say African American, that won a stage in the Tour de France, I think.
Yeah.
I can be wrong. Now,
there was another sprinter too. You know what? I think, is it, where is Vingegaard from, actually?
Isn't he? Oh, this is so bad if we get this wrong.
I think he's from South Africa.
South Africa? Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
But the other guy, like the black cyclist there, he's the first black cyclist that's reached that height of, cycling, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why he's up there. I forgot his name. We'll put his name up, I'm sure, so you guys can see who he is. Name's just running out of my
100%. If you're watching the YouTube version, we'll put his picture up. And Netflix is what kind of got me exposed to that cyclist specifically. And when I think about it, it's one of those things where even in the documentary on Netflix, I think it's Unchained. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's on Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah. And in that video, even when they looked at the training, they had like not ideal training for road cycling. So I don't think it's more of like what's stopping them as like it's a sport that they want to try, because I think every country, everyone learns how to ride a bike.
Yeah,
So
true, right?
yeah, I think the popularity comes in a road cycling is just your influences. So I mean, you've been cycling for 20 years and you tried so many different sports. We talked about that in a couple different episodes. And out of the 20 years, I think you were inspired by your father-in-law. But
Yeah.
what was it for you? How did you feel to continue on in cycling, realizing I'm kind of a minority in the
Yeah,
local community?
right, it's true. I'm kind of like the token black guy on the
Yeah.
cycling world, right? And like everybody kind of know who Abdul is, but it's there's another guy, there's a couple guys that I've seen over the years, but the thing that got me going, as you say, like, is my father-in-law, right?
Yeah.
And but I just got so drawn into the sport where for me, like race or whatever, once you connect, that's the thing about cycling. Once you connect with people that are like-minded, right? It
Yep.
really, I'm telling you, like, you don't see color, like
Yeah.
you don't see anything. You're just a human. And that's the thing about, I think, the race in general. If you don't connect with certain people with like-minded sport or whatever it is, then there's that disconnect there, right? So that disconnect, then you can start questioning all the things, right? Or maybe, why is he dressed like this, blah, blah, blah. And then you go down that road. But with cycling, what I found is once you connect mentally and everybody knows that you know something about the sport, you're not just some random dude that just shows up, right? I've done my research, everything that you talk about, I can relate. And then boom, like you don't even see that difference in color or like whatever it is, right? Because all people want really in general in life is for you to treat them with respect. You talk nice to them, and just show that you care, and then that's it. There's nothing else, right? So that's very, very important. Actually, that's a good question.
I agree with you. I think for me, actually, before we get to me, a question for you is cycling is what you're into now.
Yeah,
However, when you were into sports, athletics, and fitness throughout your life, let's say in your early 20s, where was
yeah.
cycling in your list of sports or fitness exercise was on your list?
Actually, like in my 20s,
Like early 20s, like, you get out of high
early 20s.
school, like high
I
school,
actually no, it wasn't. I wasn't even a thing. Like, if it really wasn't my father-in-law, I tell you,
yeah,
and that's what it is. You gotta have somebody to actually take you out and under their wing, show you the sport, and I think that's why a lot of people, minority people, don't have. Like for me, I'm lucky because my wife, she's white, she's Caucasian, so, and my father-in-law, right? And so they took me on he took me under his wing, and then he showed me around, and then I got addicted to the sport, and then all of a sudden it just opened my eye into a different world. But that's like late 20s, right? But in
yeah,
my early 20s, I was really playing basketball, right? I was playing basketball and, like everybody else, like running and stuff like that, right? So you don't get introduced, you don't really like that sport because somebody else hasn't introduced you to it, right? Which is once you once you open that door to cycling and you connect, is game over.
yeah. And that's to my point. I think when we think about Europeans that are into cycling, like France and whatnot, it's because it's the sports that they were introduced to when they
Yeah,
started getting into athletics. And we can say the same thing about basketball. Like, why are the French, like, why are you not into basketball? Basketball is such a fun sport. And then you see a
yeah,
few people that are. So for me, I'm the same as you. So when I was in my early 20s, I was really into weight training, volleyball, basketball, badminton. So I played university on the badminton team. I played a little bit of volleyball, and the what it comes around to is we are the average of the 5 people that we hang out with the most. And so
Yeah.
as I got older, and also when I couldn't play competitively in volleyball, or I couldn't play competitively anymore in badminton, I started to drift off to different types of sports. And I think if I was introduced into cycling at a younger age, I totally would have just been the same, fell in love with it, and maybe gone all in. And
Yeah.
I've said this a couple times.
And then you would have been a pro or something.
Maybe,
And then by the
maybe.
time you know it, you'll be doing EPO and
Yeah.
all these things.
So I mean,
Uh, oh my
if
God.
I hope, if you haven't listened to episode 7, I hope you do, and this will kind of make better sense in context. But when we think about the 5 people I hang out the most, is right now Abdul, James, Carlos, Sean, and
Right?
they're all cyclists. So I think that's also kind of the thing that I think it's not a minority why is there less people. I think it's just because we're not introduced to it like other people at a younger age, etc. Versus other sports where we feel more comfortable. I mean, badminton is a huge Asian sport, I would say,
Yes,
where I kind of grew
badminton's
up,
huge.
right? Because, and I'll be honest with you, sometimes when you're in university and you're trying to get into a varsity team, I can tell you right now, sometimes if you're Asian, you may not be able to hit the basketball team. You may not even be able to
It's
get
true.
in the
Height,
volleyball team.
right? And
Yeah,
physique, right? It's true.
badminton though, it's a lot of Asians, and I played a lot when I was in university. And I'm not saying that there is no other ethnic group that played. I would say just majority. So
Mhm.
in that aspect. Now, in regards to, let's say, a cycling group, or when I see groups of cyclists in Victoria, we chatted about this a little bit earlier. Like, I'm Filipino, and there is a Filipino crew that cycle a lot in Victoria. You know, I need to cycle with them. I always get invited. I just end up I'm tackled between doing rides with our group and triple shot cycling. And
Yeah.
there's this one, and which is really cool. When I was cycling in the A22 group, there's a guy that normally cycles in A21,
Yeah.
A21, A1, A21. And, we catch eyes because we're like the only, Filipinos or Asians that
Yeah,
were
right?
in the group. And so we chatted right away. And shout out to you, Tony, if you watch this episode. And so we connected right away. And same thing we talked about is the Filipino crew that cycle a lot. And I definitely want to cycle with them soon before it gets too cold as we get into the fall and winter. So, yes, there's less, I'd say, ethnic people in the, well, I shouldn't say in the sport, but more so in our local area versus, you know, Caucasian.
Online and
Yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Of course,
Yeah.
it's a predominantly white sport, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like when basketball started, it was white, all white, and now
Yeah.
it's like predominantly black. So it's just like what it is. But the thing about cycling is, yeah, I mean the states though, US is huge
Yeah.
with black cyclists, crit
Crit
racing,
racing.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they do a lot of crit racing in US there. But for Canada, as far as Canada goes, like it's pretty limited, right? Like there's pretty much no professional like A class, world class Asian or black or
Yeah.
right cyclists out there. So it is pretty for sure that list is not a lot, right?
So true. So true.
So
I would say for most is once you're introduced to it, and it's a sport, and I'm going to call it a sport, not just exercise, that
yeah, it is exactly. It's a sport, really.
really is easy to get into. The level of entry is fairly easy. The skill
Yeah.
set is not something
Yeah,
that
you
you
just need to
you
ride a
just need to
bike,
ride.
you
Yeah.
know?
You just got to put some time on the saddle. And
Yeah.
I think the barrier, I would say, in any sport, and this isn't just cycling, in my opinion,
Mm.
the barrier to entry is cost, but you don't have to start like some people with
Yeah, no, for sure.
with a high end bike,
Well,
right?
yeah, yeah. You don't have to start with a Madone.
You don't have to start at the very top. You definitely, start with a bike just to see if you even like the sport, which I know you'll fall in love with it. But it's one of those things where you want to set yourself up for success because let's just say my first bike was a Madone and it's got all these crazy gears and it's inevitable that you're gonna have crashes or you're gonna fall or you're gonna learn you're the because the Madone is so aggressive, it's gonna be uncomfortable, those type of things. And you might just like,
Yeah, so
this
you don't have
sucks.
exactly,
Yeah.
right? You don't know anything, then you be like, "I hate it." I'll tell you a story. I'm telling you this because now that you brought that, there's something I tried doing a long time ago that just resonated with me
Yeah.
is, like the RC helicopter flying, right?
Yeah,
Like the
yeah, yeah.
flying helicopters, the little RC. So what I did, instead of starting gradually, right? And my personality is go big
All
or go
in,
home.
all in.
so so I went to buy this expensive RC helicopter.
Yeah.
And believe it, I was staying at Bear Mountain at the time, and it was windy. So I thought maybe I figured it out because I started from this cheap $50 one, and I was like, oh, I got this. So I went and bought like $500 RC helicopter. I swear to God, the very first flight, I put this thing up in the air, and it freaking crashed. And
Oh,
I that was the end of my hobby there, they call it, right?
drones or whatnot.
Seriously,
Yeah,
that's what
like,
happened.
yeah,
Yeah, so instead of just like gradually just studying the sport and getting in slowly, right? That's what
100%.
I did. That was the mistake I did right there. So that's a lesson to learn for sure.
Yeah, and even now, like I see a lot of people cycle for years and don't even do clipless pedals just because, hey, you know what? This is easy. Not this is my commuter bike. This is my group ride bike, etc. And they don't have clipless pedals. They got flat pedals. I mean, it also kind of depends on what you're doing: mountain biking, gravel, or road, etc. And
Yeah.
I know this guy. He just literally is starting to learn how to use clipless pedals and he's been writing
Mm.
for years. Just like, oh, it's just crazy to me. I guess
Yeah,
I
it
just
is true,
started,
right?
but I
You
could
went all in and
yes and no, yes and no. I mean,
yes and no.
if it wasn't for your guidance, if it wasn't for James or even Carlos, for a lot of the things that I've done in to excel my level,
It
and
is true, right? Yeah.
yeah, but I think in my head, as I got the
Mm.
basics, every upgrade makes me faster, but also makes it easier, you know? So even with flat
Yeah,
pedals,
easier, yeah.
right? So flat pedals, I thought I was doing really, really well. I was, I thought, actually, no, I should say, for my level starting out, averaging 20 to 22 kilometers an hour. I thought it was pretty good. And then I think
But a flat pedal, yeah, that was
yeah.
fast.
And then you were like, when you get clipless pedals, you get the full power on the bottom stroke and the top stroke because you push down and you push up. In my
And
mind, I'm
you
like,
push up, pull, yeah.
why wouldn't I do that? Like, why to get better, to get
Yeah.
faster, better on climbs, those type of things. So yeah, and then in training modalities, when I think about power meters, Carlos kind of taught me like saying, hey, power is something that you can kind of rely on versus heart rate. It's just a different way of training. So you're not fatiguing your muscles and regulating pace.
Yeah.
Sean even talked about like just cadence, right? Having a cadence sensor to
Yeah.
find, what's the right cadence for you so you don't burn out. Same sort of thing, pacing. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think when you start out, you don't need all the fancy stuff that just to start the barrier isn't you can kind of create that barrier for yourself. You want to spend $1,000 or 2,000 or $10,000 on a first bike. I just don't recommend it. That's just me. Uh, but what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Go big or go home, just like the drone.
Yeah. No, for sure, right?
I think even
uh,
what did we talk about? Electric shifting, like upgrades like that. It's kind of like it's a nice to have, but
mhm.
it's not a need to start off. I mean, I think you said in the last podcast or the podcast after you'll never you'll never go back to manual shifting. But
It is
yeah,
true, right? But that took years, right? That
yeah,
took years of like accepting the sport and embracing technology, right? I mean, technology is technology, right? It keeps evolving, it keeps changing. And so if you're up to that, you like technology, I mean, cycling just is on a whole different level right now, right? With your heart rate, with your power, right? With your cadence, everything, right? So it is pretty cool.
so we kind of
Yeah.
talked about, we're talking about ethnicity and we're talking about the sport and how, let's say, Filipinos and African Americans are actually doing well in cycling. What are your thoughts in how fast people progress? And I'm not, like you played basketball in the past. I think that really helped you out, and soccer,
Yeah.
running.
And running, right?
Yeah. Do you feel if you weren't that fit, that cycling would be still something that you'd fall in love with? And like, or do you think you would have been okay with that? I'm like, yeah, this is something that's going to be a part of my lifestyle.
You know what? I'm telling you, up to this day, if I wasn't introduced by my father-in-law, I don't think I would
Yeah.
actually even got into it, right? It's just you need somebody that you trust or you like, you want to hang out with, right? That's what will get you into cycling. Because a lot of
Yeah.
people, there's other friends that I have that I haven't ridden with, they don't really get it. They don't understand, right?
Yeah.
So it's so interesting, right? Like they always say, "Oh, I would like to go for a ride with you," right?
Yeah.
But it just doesn't happen, right? Because you're on a different level now, and so I mean, you can go for coffee rides, but then when you look at the prices for bikes, right? It's for you to be able to keep
Crazy.
up at least for a decent pace, right? You need to spend X amount of dollars, and that's where, like, if you don't have somebody on a different level to introduce you to a sport, or they can, like, hey, you can use my bike, you can come along and stuff like that, and of course timing, right? If
100%.
you don't have that, if you don't have all those, like, checked, then you won't even be interested in the sport at all. You just think like, it's fine, I'm okay. Cyclist, right? I'm a driver. There goes another cyclist.
I
you know?
100% agree with you. When I think about my cycling journey and how I started the sport, it's really you that got me into the sport to at least try it. I mean, even we've known each other for years. I didn't start cycling till last year. So,
Yeah, it is true, right?
right?
Like, but you didn't like didn't jump in. You took your time. You took your time forever, right?
I
And
did.
and then it just so happened. It just so happened.
I think it's multiple things. I think it was, for instance, even James. James was my next door neighbor. He
Yeah,
cycled, he
true, right?
talked
Yeah.
about cycling, and it just was never something that I was interested in. I always felt like, hey, I'm running. This is what I'm doing CrossFit. I'm doing this. I'm weight training. I'm doing this.
Yeah,
And
and you're comfortable with it. What I'm gonna add more,
well,
like,
not only that, even talking to even talking to you, it's like I work out for 45 minutes to an hour. I'm done. That's my workout.
yeah.
And then when I talk to people that cycle, they're like 4 hours, 5 hours. Like, they know that. Just like,
Well,
what are you
speaking
talking
about
about? How can
thinking
you
about
cycle?
a workout for 45.
Yeah.
You remember we used to box,
Yeah, a
and
45-minute
then
workout, hour workout.
after we boxed, we used to go for this big freaking
Yeah,
breakfast.
exactly, exactly. Floyd's Diner and just slam down like 100%.
But
And
when you're cycling,
it's
you don't have
like
time to stop a big ass breakfast. You just keep going, and then you
exactly.
become fitter, right? It's crazy the sport.
Yeah. So
Telling you.
I think there's multiple things that I created for myself as a barrier to even just give it a try.
Mhm.
And I mean, we talked about the past in a past podcast, but I mean, one thing for me was a cost thing. I was like, man, like I could spend, X amount of dollars on a bike, or I can spend an X amount of dollars on multiple other different things that I'm into
Yeah.
at the time. So I'm going to go down to my first statement. I think it's not necessarily, you know, why this is the reason why there's less ethnicity in a sport like cycling. I think it's just
Mhm.
you're the average of the five people you hang out with. So
It is true.
yeah, and you said it yourself, like you trusted your father-in-law, got you into the sport, giving you the ability, the tools. I think you
The
said,
lead, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and you did the same. Like there's the only reason why I have a Trek bike is because you have a Trek bike. James
It's
has a
true.
Trek
So,
bike.
and that's it. Like
Yeah,
my father-in-law introduced me to Trek,
yeah,
to Lance Armstrong, all those people. That
yeah,
era, Trek was the bike. It even up to this day. So
yeah.
that's why, right? So that's
And
why, yeah.
I think also just the steps that I've taken to accelerate my skill sets in getting faster and different upgrades on my bike. And even like, hey, Ryan, you should do zone two training, like go on an easy ride, then go on a hard ride, join this
Yeah.
cycling club, push, full
Right?
gas.
Push, 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 right? And now, like you've accelerated like light, like Lightning McQueen.
Well,
Like
let,
you're like next level for how fast you. I told you this before. Um, but yeah, no, like really impressed because like it doesn't like most people, as myself actually,
yeah,
like it took me, I would say 10 years to really get to a point where like I can connect and everything like from cycling jersey whatever it
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
just like make sense in a whole when you where like if I need to upgrade this or if I need to put on this, right? Everything just you just know right away, right, without even a question. And you've done that in like a couple years.
Well,
that's
I wouldn't have been
that's
able to do
crazy.
that without your guidance because you have all that experience. You said it yourself. Like, hey, I've done all the research. Like, you're like Ryan, you don't.
Like, yeah, right? Like, I've done all the mistakes, do this,
Yeah,
do that. I've done it all. Like, there's so much you can bypass quickly to just accelerate. And I think, hey, you've done it, and you are you're
well, let me
the
share.
next time. Hey, 2026, watch out for Ryan Garde.
So I'm gonna share a story. I mean, I told you this earlier, and I think it was a shock to you, but it was like crazy for me. So
Mm.
I did start gravel riding, right? So I,
Look at that.
I have two bikes.
See, I'm telling you, I am telling you, he just accelerated another one, another height.
Well, I think I talked about this in the other in the last couple episodes. I'm trying to transition from the road to gravel, literally just to get off the road, and more
Yeah,
so
for the weather change,
weather
right?
change
All that.
and just it's getting darker, so it's going to be more difficult for cars to see you when you're on the road. I mean, let's be honest.
It's true.
If you're doing a solo ride and the routes that we normally take with a road bike, which you don't necessarily want to use your road bike with road tires on dirt and gravel, hence the reason why there's gravel
Yeah,
bikes,
true. Oh, yeah, it is
right?
true. Then it
So,
becomes a very expensive sport. You're gonna get
yeah,
more flats on the road, all that stuff, right?
exactly. So I did a gravel ride last night. It was an amazing experience, except oh my goodness, I did
Dun,
end
dun,
up getting
dun.
some
Oh
road
my
rash.
goodness.
I crashed, and I like
Ouch.
like. Let's think about this for a moment, okay? Let's just think about this for a moment.
Okay.
We're going like you're in A21, A1 sometimes. I'm in A22, and we're in a group of what, 12, 14, something like that. and
Yeah.
we're averaging 37 kilometers an hour, and sometimes we're at 70 kilometers an hour on a descent, and you're in a group and you're wheel
Mhm.
to wheel, no
Yeah.
accident, right? Your all senses are
Yeah.
on
Like, right? At
heightened.
that speed, nothing. Yeah.
Gravel ride, I'm like, man, we're going pretty slow, and I get it because we're going up these trails, down these trails, and there's tree roots coming out, bushes all around. So we're climbing, but we're not climbing fast. The descents,
Yeah.
for me, I was more conservative, and we the funny enough, I crashed
Mhm.
not in the gravel segments. So to get from one trail to the next, we obviously have to hit the road.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault at all. It's a new group that I rode with, and they ride all the time and just gravel. Like they ride a lot where they don't even like record their rides. They more so are just there for the experience. It's kind of like a crazy thought because speed's not really an issue for them for gravel
Mhm.
riding.
Yeah.
Some of them are really fast, don't get me wrong. But when you're climbing and when you're going in these trails that are a little bit more technical,
Yeah.
we're not going at a super fast pace. I mean, even for myself, I've had to clip out because
Mhm.
the trails were just so tight. And
Yeah.
if the person in front of you, where I crashed was when we were on a road segment, and this was just this is my mistake, I want to say, because I'm so used to group rides where we're kind of in sync and we know
Yeah.
we're yelling things for safety like rolling stop or rolling, slowing down, car up, car back, hand
So you just
signals.
expect, yeah, you just
Yeah.
expect all that was gonna happen.
So I was kind of riding like a group ride and I was going wheel to wheel with the guy ahead of me. And there was like 8 of us. Like there was a good group of us, maybe not eight, like
Hmm.
six to 8 of us. And yeah, someone stopped abruptly in the front of the group and just did this domino effect. And
Ooh.
because everyone was kind of a good distance, and me being, in this case, kind of an idiot, I was like wheel to wheel with the guy in front of me. So when he suddenly stopped with no, you know, letting me know he's slowing down or whatever, and I think it's also his reaction time because it's like stop, stop, stop. I hit his back wheel, I unclipped, and I was trying to maneuver. And while I was braking, I was feathering, like just so I wouldn't crash into him. He braked, and that's
Mhm.
what happened. And then I kind of flipped over uh, and just rolled out of
Ouch.
it. And then, yeah, hence,
But the question is the bike okay?
the bike is rideable. Like I'll be honest with you, it's totally fine. I that happened. I want to say halfway through the ride, my
Yeah.
chain, fell off. I was able to put it back on. I checked the gears. I was able to go from the top chain ring to the bottom. The only thing is my shifter just kind of broke a little bit, but not enough where I couldn't use it. And that
Use
was
it, eh?
yeah. So
Okay.
but the cool thing is because I upgraded my other bike from mechanical shifting to Di2, I have the extra shifters. I
Mhm.
can swap them out. So
Perfect.
the everything on the bike seems fine. The only thing is just more cosmetic. So because my bike
Mhm.
didn't actually crash, the guy in front of me, my handlebars got stuck in his back wheel. So what I was getting was like rubber burn on my frame.
Oh, okay,
So,
got it. Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
I did check the frame to see if there was any cracks or anything like that. So there's just these tire marks all over my frame. So I'm hoping it will come off. I haven't washed the bike yet.
But did you bruise your ego as well?
I think I took it well because everyone was obviously concerned, and this is a new group that I'm riding with.
Yeah.
So yeah, was I embarrassed? For sure. I think it was more so that I was I was fine. The bike was fine. I could ride the rest of the ride and just kind of and I took it easy. I wasn't as aggressive.
Yeah.
I didn't realize because when I think gravel ride, I'm thinking like, hey, going up the Galloping Goose to Souk or something like that, and
Yeah, exactly,
not
right?
these tight technical trails that almost in some sections, honestly, it felt
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, we're mountain biking. Like I don't have the right bike for this.
Right?
And so yeah, no, I took it easy, and again, I think it's just the community that they
Yeah.
want to make sure that I ride again with them and that I felt comfortable. So it was really good in that sense. So we had a barbecue after, we had a few beers, we chilled out. It
Look at
was
this
totally
guy, eh?
cool.
He just started riding. He did the road biking, racing. I'll say pretty much, triple shot group rides in the morning, and now he's doing gravel
Gravel.
rides
Oh
with a
man.
barbecue after. He's next level. I'm telling you, he's next level.
I'm excited about the gravel rides, to be honest with you, because there is some moments where like, man, this is now I understand like
It's
why they
different,
like,
right?
yeah, it's totally different. It's not about the speed. Well,
Yeah,
with this group, it wasn't about the speed. It was more of like adventure. Like, what are some other
yeah.
trails we
Get
can
out
go?
there in the
Yeah.
woods, right? Yeah,
I didn't take a picture
yeah,
because I was kind of bruised up already. But we
yeah.
got into different sections where we saw the sunset, like just beautiful views. We got up this mountain, again, beautiful views, and just these side roads or back roads, I should say back roads.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. It was something that I understand you also did. You went to Shawnigan and all that kind of stuff, right? So it was I'm sure you
Yeah,
had
I
some
did the
technical
long one.
trails.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Shawnigan. Yeah, some technical trails. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was fun. There's some steep hills there, and then we took the ferry back.
Yeah.
Um, but it is a cool experience for sure. It's just like mountain biking, right? It's like you're
Yeah.
out in the woods, right?
Exactly.
It's that feeling of like, looking around, like, am I getting attacked by an animal or a cougar or something? The adrenaline, right,
Yeah.
is in there, which is pretty cool. Different environment. But that sucks that you fell and crashed there. So,
Yeah, I was, to be
mhm.
honest,
Yeah,
I was I was blessed because we know that there are some severe accidents that happen and crashes that happen, and sometimes I hear this running joke. You you need to break your collarbone as like a sense of like, hey, you're like serious about cycling, and I'm serious about cycling enough, but I don't want to break anything. I
you
don't want to
wanna
like
break
injure
anything.
myself. So
You're gonna crash. You're gonna fall. I mean,
yeah,
at least you're not in a race, right? Where
yeah. And that descent
but
wasn't super fast. I think maybe at the highest
it
peak
wasn't
before I
technical at
crashed.
all.
No, well, again, this was like a road segment, so I was like, ah, this is where are we gonna go? But they didn't have a plan, kind of where to go. We were kind of
Yeah,
like hunting for trails, if you want to call it that. So the
yeah.
lead was like, oh, let's turn left here, and we were in interurban, and we were on that kind of like slight descent. We were like going up to like 40, 42 kilometers an hour, and then we abrupt stop. So
Oh, okay, yeah.
I didn't feel too bad as if like was this a rookie mistake or was this I just needed to be more aware. I just and understand the group that you're in. So and tip if you're in a new group ride and you haven't rode with them before, keep some distance to for safety where maybe
Awesome.
you're more
And
aggressive.
and now circling back to
Yeah.
ethnicity. So then you were like, of course, probably the only Filipino
No.
there, or like were you?
So good thing you brought that up. So the people that we went with, there was maybe like what did I say, about 6 to 8 of us, right? There was at
Yeah.
least 4 of us that were ethnic. So there's
Oh wow.
I was Filipino, and the other guy, I think his name was Steve, was I think Chinese, but he was like Asian.
Hmm.
And then there was another guy who
Yeah.
was darker as well, but he wasn't. I don't know what ethnicity he was, but he definitely wasn't like Caucasian. And then the rest were Caucasian, of course,
Hmm.
but it was a good
Yeah.
mix, a good group of guys. and gals. And
Mhm.
one of them, actually, no. So one of them actually was all decked out in triple shot, like cycling gear. His name,
Okay.
his name's Brian, and
Yeah.
he does. And again, we're obviously doing a gravel ride. So
Mhm.
Triple Shot Cycling Club does the gravel and has the road group rides. And
Yeah, exactly.
he's older than us. So I want to say maybe he's like 10 years older than us. His
Okay.
kids are a lot older. So he did triple shot, like he started like 10 years ago. So he was in the kind of
Wow.
same position as us.
The OG.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, he would do the six o'clock rides because that was the only time he could ride. But now that his kids are older, he can kind of
Yeah.
ride whenever he wants.
Yeah.
And then there is a girl that was with us that also like strictly does triple shot gravel rides. And
Okay. Yeah. Some people just strictly just stick to gravel,
yeah,
right? There's
so
a huge following of like gravel riders out there.
but she did
Yeah.
start like road like we did, right? Like she did that. I think
Yeah.
she was like B1, B2 group, and then
Mhm.
she's in the CX2 group. CX2, CX3. CX4 is like
Mhm.
A1, like spicy, like technical and
Yeah. Like
fast.
really
Probably
like
like
so
Scott.
fast, right? So God, like, Scott's fast,
Probably
right?
Scott
Deep
probably does
tracks
like
over
C4.
there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been a great topic for sure. Yeah, it's pretty interesting because yeah, because where we live, as you say in Victoria here, right, it's
Oh,
very limited to how many people that we see that are not Caucasian riding all the time. But and I used to do a lot of solo rides too,
yeah.
that too as well. So, but then you always get people to invite you, right? So that's the thing about the sport. Like you get people inviting you all the time. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, whatever it
Yeah,
is. It
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
matter. Cyclists, I don't. Yeah, that's the thing about cycling. There's no like no races, color, nothing in cycling, and
Oh,
it's just get in. Can you hang on us, right? Like that's
last
it,
wheel, last wheel.
right? Can you hang?
Yeah, for
Right?
sure.
So love it, love it, love it. But I encourage anybody out there that's just like, maybe the sport is not for like you or whatever it is, right? I'll encourage you to like reach out to us, me and Ryan, and we could take you out for a ride. You just need that person that can just get you out there. That's all you need. Trust me, you love it.
100%. Well, I guess that takes us to the end of episode number 8.
Number
Wow.
8, and then I think on the next one we'll start talking about like the gear. There's something behind me there, if you see.
Oh, snap.
Yeah,
So,
so we'll talk about our bikes. I think on the next episode, more tech on cycling, what we ride, what Ryan rides, and maybe a couple of our friends, and then yeah, we'll go from there.
yeah, I think so. I think we're going to we'll go out on site. We'll maybe
Yeah,
go outside and get some fresh air before it gets cold, rainy, and all the good things that we need in this part of the world.
yeah.
With that being said, let's thank our sponsors. So we got
At
sponsors.
project, at project. Let's see if I remember.
Well, first, let's go to Instagram and YouTube. Last Wheel Cycling. Got to make sure to check that out.
Yes. Yeah, and
And
on Strava too, right? We're on Strava there. But yeah, check us out on Instagram. Project Black Member 8. That's after Kobe, because that's a Gen 8 Madone right there. So that's why I have a Kobe sticker on that bike.
I
So
love it. And of course, Project Fit Daddy. Check us out.
let's go
And we'll catch you in.
on the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Follow us, like, subscribe.
Do
Let's
all the
go.
things.
Yeah.